might be the one that truly get me, and I might be the one you really want, and I feel it too. But you don't know what I've been going through. This is when you tell me that you're different. This is when you try to make me fall, convince me it's true. But you didn't even have to try, 'cause you can start a fire without a spark. Forget what I told you, forget all about that tonight. Just remember the flame, you remember the flame, alright. Forget what I told you, forget all about that tonight. Just remember the flame, you remember the flame, alright. You remember the flame. Maybe you will tell me what you're thinking, or maybe you will give me all the blame, but I'm moving on. I just have to make sure that you know. Would you be there for me if I'm flying straight into the sun? Blinded by the light I'm chasing, that has happened before. And maybe you don't know for sure, but you can start a fire without a spark. Forget what I told you, forget all about that tonight. Just remember the flame, you remember the flame, alright. Forget what I told you, forget all about that tonight. Just remember the flame, you remember the flame. Forget what I told you, forget all about that tonight. Just remember the flame, you remember the flame, alright. Forget what I told you, forget all about that tonight. Just remember the flame, you remember the flame, alright.
Howdy, howdy, everybody, and welcome back to the Champion Forge. After a little bit of a layoff, we've returned once again. You could not get rid of us. My name is
Even if
Canapit
you
along-
tried.
Well, they do try. They do try. My name is Canapit alongside Exodus and Roger, who we'll be hearing from a little bit more in a second. But we've officially moved back to Mondays as our ongoing time slot because we want to make it nice and easy for people to find out where and when we will be broadcasting. Big set of news for us is next week we're going to be doing, hopefully, if everything works out, not only a special show which will be either on this channel or on a different one. We'll definitely keep you guys updated in the Discord, but we'll also have, well, hopefully, if everything works out again, an interesting announcement as well. Now, my first of my cohorts today, Exodus. Could you take the 5 people who may be here for the first time, how they're going to be interacting with today's live improvised design of a champion?
Because our other ones are never improvised. Yes, obviously. So we are doing a sort of random number generator today. A little bit similar to what we've done before, but we noticed that that random number generator wasn't as random as it could have been because we kept landing on certain animals. So I will ask our audience today to roll a couple of dices. I would like to have 3 D20s, and then after that I would like to have 1, 2, 3, 4 D12s. Now, how do you roll a D12? How do you roll a D20? I think it's exclamation mark D20 in the chat and exclamation mark D12 in the chat. Pete, Counterfeit, correct me if I'm wrong on that command. But so first of all, while we're waiting, while I'm doing my way too long explanation, if anybody's watching right now, not if, but everybody who is watching right now, can you give me 3 D20s? So it would be great because that already defines some of the features of the character we're going to design today.
Oh, Mam Sus Dunas has already rolled and
Mamsu!
gotten a... Mamsu! Mamsu, welcome. Good
Five.
morning. Oh my gosh, they must be in America or thereabouts. What's a 5 get us, Exodus?
It's frazzled, and it's as a hairstyle, and it's the only hairstyle that I don't know what it is.
What is it?
What's a frazzled
it's
hairstyle?
Like, it's like sort of frizzy hair.
That does not explain anything to me.
Is it kind of like mad scientist, but
Yes,
for
it's
a
like
lady?
yeah, mad
Like
scientist kind of like
Einstein?
yes,
Yeah.
Einstein static electricity kind of hair. All right, before we get too deep into that, of course, we've got one person we haven't even introduced themselves as of yet.
Sorry,
So before we
Roger.
get too deep into the roles, this is the first time we've run the stream this way. It's why it's so disorganized. Roger, can you tell us what you're about and what you'll be doing here today?
So, here are the people who don't know me. I am Roger. Roger, just call me Roger. I am the creative part of the brain here. Something. I think, you know, like we got 2 people with the brain. With the technical stuff, you know, how does the champion work? And they got 1 piece of work on the right brain side. And that is me. Yes, creative, very creative. And so I will be doing the artwork. I will be,
Digging
you
the
know,
hole.
just catching it on, you know, and try to like keep up with like all the creative stuff on my brain and from all of you. So yes, it's gonna be great.
Oh, okay, so I think we already got a D20. Pete, do you have anything else to inform the stream, or shall we get rolling on this character creation?
I know. I think we're good. We've kind of covered our news for the time being. So yeah. So how many more D20 rolls? Mamsus, don't worry. Like if you want to roll again, that's absolutely fine. A lot of the time, a lot of people watching will be watching on phones and things. They won't necessarily be directly in the chat. So how many more D20s do we need as we go through and establish what our character looks like in broad?
One quick thing. I'll have to run because I locked my roommate out. So.
All right. Cool. All right.
Sorry.
This has never happened before. Let me tell you. So just to finish a little bit with the explanation Roger was about to give, I assure you this is what was going to happen. It's that Roger will be drawing art live on stream, much as we try and make up this champion live on stream. So do encourage you, because it's all happening. You know, there's no fakery here. It's all being drawn literally as we are talking. If you've got anything to contribute in terms of the champion design or the art itself, or any part of this, please do be as vocal as possible, because we're already confused. The more confused we get, the better the result is. Last time we ended up with a political goat. Who knows what kind of thing we can end up with this time around?
Yeah, so please, especially, I think we had the horn suggestion. I don't know who it exactly came from anymore, but that was amazing. So please not only give us, like me and Counterfeit, some tips or some feedback of something you want to see, but also give Roger something you want to see, because Roger, as much as we you know said we're also the creative part, Roger does really do a fantastic job at drawing this stuff and at drawing on the fly. We got another D20, and it's a 15. This is for speech slurs. So our character that we will be designing slurs. Okay,
Blurred
so
speech. Interesting.
can we have one more D20 in the chat? Actually, can I do a D20 as well? I've never done a D20 on the stream.
If you can get there ahead of them, I suppose you can.
Yeah, you know what? I've never done a D20. I never rolled
17.
dice on the stream. 17. Okay.
Also, I think the horns was my thing because I found the art of the little
Ooh,
sheepy.
sideburns. So we have somebody
Sideburns?
who has a frazzled haircut, who slurs, and who has sideburns. This is starting to feel very much like a stereotypical, you know, American Army drill sergeant.
Oh no.
There we go. Roger, you've been more directed art-wise than you ever have been before. Frazzled hair and sideburns. Two
Okay.
actual individual appearance types here.
Let's go.
Yeah, they seem like... Well, I guess, so this is the whole idea here, is that we're kind of getting an idea of their character straight away, even if we don't necessarily know why they've got any of these things.
True. People in chat, we still need 4 D12s. So
Four?
the first, 4. So the first couple of peeps who just the exclamation mark D12 in chat. If we get 4, we have more information about the misfortune they had. The death table will give you. I'm not gonna spoil what that is exactly. Their childhood environment and their place of birth. So 4 D12s, and I don't care who they're from. I think I see
Mamzu.
Mamzu, thank you.
I just call him Mamzu.
Mamzu, for some reason his exclamation
Oh.
mark D12 isn't working in
Oh,
Oh yeah, because you just used
that's
it.
Right.
It has like a small, maybe like a cooldown, probably.
No, I realise now, which I do apologise for, is that I've actually not included a D12 thing. Let me get that sorted out. It's pretty quick to do.
While we're waiting on that, if you hear some people sniffling, blowing their noses, I think all 3 of us at this point, even though we all 3 of us live approximately 1 or 2k kilometers from each other, have the sniffles.
Yeah.
Ah,
I just I
Memsus,
almost got
could
like
you
just
give-
like something in my throat, but it's like, it's gonna be fine.
Memsus, can you give that D12 command another try and see if it's working now? Happy Light Sense as an army drill sergeant who's actually so soft and kind. His favorite thing to do is bake little pastries for his comrades.
And they don't know
Oh.
it makes them.
I like
This-
that.
That kind of reminds me of Bob Ross, because Bob Ross, believe it or not,
True.
used to be a drill sergeant, and that's insane because Bob, yeah, that's actually true. Bob Ross used to be a drill sergeant, which is crazy because he's one of the, at least from his appearances, and I think from what people have said as well, he's one of the most kind-hearted persons
Yeah.
that you ever could meet. So
Imagine
another-
you see one of his videos, you're like, hey, that dude used to yell at me to do some push-ups.
Don't have mistakes here, soldier. We have happy accidents.
Oh gosh.
Every push-up needs a second push-up, because every push-up needs a friend.
Yeah.
All right, we've got so we've basically
Two.
got Bob Ross as a champion. All right, what's our D12 for as 2?
That's it, I'm
Who's
trying
that gonna
Bob
get
Ross.
us?
So, I mean, this kind of checks out. Place of birth, a 2, a rural hamlet, or a village.
Ah.
A few houses isolated from any one kingdom, not really on the map. That fits in well. Not gonna lie, that fits in well so far. So we still need 3 different D12s. I don't care who they're from. Exclamation mark D12 in the chat.
Who's Alsbilder Schmidt?
That's a good name.
All spill the
I
Schmidt.
spilled the Schmidt.
So that's
Oh, Ausbilder Schmidt. Oh.
Spiller? Okay.
Oh,
Ausbilder.
yeah, teacher, some teacher.
Oh, like a YouTuber or something?
No. It's a word for, not like a sensei. Shit.
Isn't he like a German character?
It's a
or
German.
something?
No,
Yeah.
I don't know that. Yeah, but Ausbilder is German, so. What is it in English?
Oh, let's keep getting some D12s in the
Yeah.
chat. Now we've got that command running. So just keep throwing out D12s, everyone who's watching, until we run out of ones we need it for. Because I think we've got a few different ones to get through. All right, we've got a 5. Hey, Taco
5.
Gaming.
A
So
5.
if you are able to, Taco, I will send you a link to the Twitch stream because that's where most of the folks are. Twitch.tv/ChampionForge. Well, I guess it's on the stream at the moment. You can see it at the bottom.
This is literally. By the way, guys, we are not. This is just purely random rolls, but this is getting closer and closer to an actual Bob Ross character. Childhood
Nice.
environment 5. Supportive. You are provided guidance and care and allowed to grow and explore. I mean, I don't want to
Aw.
say Bob Ross, but very much Bob
We
Ross.
have our
We're
Bob
going on the
Ross.
we're going the nurture side of the argument here. Happy Light Sense got a 9. I think. How many more do we need? Just one more, or are we done?
One more after Happy Light Sense is one.
All right, one
I'm
more
guessing.
D12.
So we got a
Exclamation mark
9.
D12.
A 9 is their misfortune, which is ooh. Ooh, this is a bit dark. Indentured servant. Bad deals or bad luck left a large debt to be paid off, or outright slavery. Ew. So somebody who was an indentured servant before, and then we need one more for the death table.
Does someone know more about Bob Ross's past? Maybe that's like completely his thing.
Well, he got
you
into
guys-
doing. I do seem to remember there was something about Bob Ross that he didn't go into the TV program stuff expecting very much from it.
No, I think he just wanted to paint. I seriously think a good friend of mine is a massive Bob Ross fan, and she said that he just.
I think everyone
wanted to
should be a
paint
massive Bob Ross fan.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Are you guys German? I'm not. I know Roger is Swiss from the German.
I live in
part.
Switzerland. I am
Yeah.
from Germany. Yep.
Ah, there we go.
Oh, cool.
we
And
need
Counterfeit
something
is from the
Netherlands,
UK.
Yeah, which is ruled by Germans, so it's kind of the same thing.
We need
Wow.
one more. We need one more D12, guys. If you already rolled one, that's fine. Just we need one more D12 to complete this character arc.
Hey, Parker.
Noxian military. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Noxian military from a rural village. Yeah, that kind of works out. Indented servitude also.
Oh, one last one is a 5. What's it gonna be?
5. It's the death table. 5 is disease. So anything from a simple cold to a pox caused death. So I don't know how exactly we're gonna implement the death table yet, but that is something we can. We're not saying we're gonna use everything here because first of all, time constraint. Second of all, sometimes things don't fit together and then we need to ditch something. But I think there's a way to correlate disease in there. We could say, for example, that our character was struck by disease at a young age, and then he had to learn how to paint because he was bedridden or something along those lines. I think that's not hinting towards any other already existing person, but it's in there.
No,
It's in there.
we never do that. We never go to others. No.
So, alright, so if we are gonna... I'll leave the abilities just kind of snugly off to the side there for a minute. So, if we're gonna make Bob Ross as a champion, which it sounds like we broadly have got, so it's Bob Ross
Yeah.
who suffers some level of misfortune after
Yeah.
being raised right, but things haven't necessarily gone perfectly for Bob Ross here. So, how far do we want to kind of lean into Bob Ross as a person versus Bob Ross as a meme versus Bob Ross as a painter archetype?
I'm thinking there is
What visualize
nothing.
interests people the most?
Yeah, what interests people the most? Well, I can give them some suggestions. There's nothing in the lines of a painter in League. So there's nothing in Jin is an artist, but how?
We only have a seamstress with Gwen. Or like
have a
she's
seamstress.
she was a doll. So
And we have 2 DJs. So there's definitely room for a painter in there.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? There isn't a lot of like creatives, like straight creatives, really, in there.
yeah.
Happy's has got a good grasp from the law. So before Swain became a big boy of Noxus, that's his official title. The country had a bunch of influential noble houses. This is a person who belonged to one of those noble houses, but after Swain's coup, he was forced into military service.
Yeah, I like it.
And he got
I like it.
he got like a scar over the eye. After Swain's
Okay.
coup, like Swain got
Sure.
him like
Okay, former son of a
Oh.
noble house. I mean, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, kind of makes sense. It can be somewhere along the lines of, his parents were local lords or ladies or local small-time nobility. And because of the war with Noxus, he was forced into the army because, he got an education or something. But he actually wanted to do something with something artistic. It doesn't have to be painting, guys. But, I just want something else besides 2 DJs in League. Well, 'cause
fair enough.
he is still into art and wants to pursue it as much as possible, but he has to hide it from his commanding
Ooh,
officers.
I like the tension there. I like the
Ooh.
tension of him not just being like a officer, not just being a painter, but being a secret painter. I love it. I think it's a really cool idea.
Oh,
So- They could aesthetically be a kind of more military officer type, but also have like elements of the painter in their design.
what if? And this is a what if question. What if this is like his way of rebelling? Because he's we don't know if he's a kind-hearted soul, but he rebels by expressing his art, by they
Oh, like
raid
a street artist who then calls out the
Yeah,
government.
he will paint something on the wall somewhere, and it'll be like, okay, this is a sort of Banksy-esque
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think. Yeah.
It's Banksy.
So we've gone from
yeah.
Bob Ross to Banksy. Bob Ross and Banksy had a very hairy child.
Yeah.
What?
All right. Yeah, I'm into this. Absolutely.
Okay. Banksy Ross.
Yeah, I think that's a
Bob
good
I mean,
idea.
we know who we got the hair from.
Ranksy, yeah.
Ranksy? I mean, sort of.
It makes him sound a
Also
little
Bob Ross,
hobo-y.
because like
If you have any other suggestions, I know Happy Light Sense, lore-wise, I think you have more than enough, but please keep them coming because this is absolutely amazing. Gets the creative juices flowing. But if you have any other feedback on abilities, what you want to see, I think we've kind of set on Painter, right? Or at least something in that lines. If anybody disagrees, please let us know. Please tell us. Counterfeit or Roger as well. But I think Painter would be very cool in League because there's a lot of stuff you can do with that.
Okay, yeah. So our kind of central tensions here then. Tensions are art versus war.
Yeah.
Kind upbringing versus reality of military service. Anything else you can think of which are kind of like core things?
Okay, let me go back to the script. Ooh, actually, this ties well in. So he slurs. So there is a chance that he or she will not be taken seriously or will struggle a little bit with that in a military environment because obviously you don't want to slur when you're giving out orders. So is there a way we can tie that into his artwork where he expresses himself more or where they express themselves more in the form of art
maybe
than
like
in the
he's
form of
I don't know
communication?
how do you manage to like just slur? Because like slurring for me like is linked to like being drunk. Is slurring also like that he could have like a voice defective, that he got like slashed by Swain, for example, and then now has like a voice defective something,
Yeah. I
like the
think people can
scar
have
goes like
various
all the way through the
I think I've heard of, like, hopefully someone in the chat will have a better idea, but like I've certainly heard people who've gotten, kind of like mild brain injuries and things which will cause someone to slur permanently.
Or maybe some mental trauma even. Like he saw something and he just didn't feel good about it for the rest of his life. That's something that can happen.
Okay, so yes, I mean, I kind of like the idea of, so struggling to express themselves verbally versus expressing through art.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a cool idea. Alright, I think that's enough to get us started with. So let's,
Have we made a top laner in recent episodes? Because I think we haven't. I know we've made a support. We've made I think 2 junglers even. We made a mid laner. And then an AD carry. We've made an AD carry, but we haven't made a top laner yet.
okay. Alright, let's bang that in then as an idea.
Then imagine him and then Swain, with the epic backstory, facing each other.
Yes.
Okay, so enemy of Swain. Okay, so he's a Noxian soldier who is the good Noxian soldier, I guess, who presumably is secretly working against Swain in some capacity.
This is amazing. It's Stop Ross. Come on. Come on. That's good. That's really good, Happy.
All right. Well, so now we've got our high idea kind of working here. So we haven't cut the Born in the Village part, but we've kept the so we've got the misfortune part from the stuff we rolled. Affected by disease, kind of, with the slurring. I don't know if we'll be able to necessarily tie that in tremendously, but hopefully we can kind of keep that in mind. The frazzled hair is basically just giving him Bob Ross's haircut, which is going to be pretty straightforward, but
Yeah.
Who cares?
who can blame us?
Who should
so
stop
that's-
us? That's more the question.
Alright, so now we've got our high concepts, let's go on to our middle concepts. So what should Top Ross be doing in the game? Like, even without talking about specifically what, how they do it, what kind of things should a painter champion be doing in the game to fulfill some of these high concepts?
Okay, so painter style. So he definitely needs to have a paintbrush, and there needs to do something with painting in his kit. Otherwise, why even have it?
Okay.
Maybe even that he blinds some things or someone, or that he just distracts them, or that he uses paint as a sort of a getaway or a sort of zone of denial. So you can say paint as a form of CC.
Okay, paint as CC. So yeah, so we've got the idea of paint as something which you can spread over a wide area.
Different paint colors have different effects. Oh, actually, happy. This isn't. You can go really deep with this because, for example, you can say use an ability and that is red, and then use another ability and I'm bad with colors, so that's blue, and I don't know what red and blue gives you. Is that
Purple.
Purple.
purple? So then you get a purple. So you get a purple effect. So it depends on how you combine the paints.
Yeah, I
No?
think that'd be a cool idea.
Okay,
I'm sorry,
I have to look
What
this
are
up because.
sideburns? I'm sorry.
Think of who's famous for having sideburns. Who's famous for having sideburns?
I think you would honestly be better just googling it. Honestly.
Yeah, just
I'm-
Google sideburns.
Oh my god. Okay. So like Bismarck shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Bismarck shit.
All right.
Why
Yeah,
did
sorry,
it-
my
Mm,
the view's gone a bit wonky.
that's-
There we go.
wow.
Right. So let's see. So we've got
Do they have to be big? They don't, right? No.
not necessarily.
Combining.
Okay, so we've
primary
got-
colors.
So yes, we've got a paintbrush. So creating zones with paint are different paint colors. So I think mixing colors I think is a really cool idea, and I think a lot of
Yeah.
people could understand that. Massanunus wants to have Mamsustunas. Gosh darn it, their name is so hard to
Mamzu.
say.
Mamzu.
Mamsu. Mamsu wants a paintbrush behind the ear. All right, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
that is cute.
Okay. So for me, the painting stuff, I kind of like the idea of there being. It feels like it's more genuinely sort of paintery if the paint, or at least some part of this kit, sticks around for longer. Because for me,
Yeah.
that feels like a kind of defining part of painting is that it lasts. It's not just like a really temporary thing. I could easily see a champion like this having just a bunch of very temporary abilities, which to me would kind of feel like it's missing the point of having a painter.
Okay, so I think we need to make the decision on, or not maybe right now, but god damn these sniffers! So, does he paint himself? Does he paint something in Summoner's Rift? Or does he paint enemy champions?
That's a really good
I think he
question. that
paints
leads-
abstractly, which means it can be just splatters of colors which you can interpret as anything you want to. Would that would that be a good solution? Because
Could you elaborate?
Familiar? Go on.
well, because abstract, it can be abstract is, for example, if I would. God, I'm not good with the technical art stuff. Okay, so my theory, I'm no professor, but what I would see as like drawing abstractly, for example, if I would see, for example, the display with the Champion Forge, and no wait, that's more impressionistic. No, is that abstract? Shit. If I would just like break it down, and just like have like the yellow, and then I have a little like the green square there, and then like a little purple square of counterfeit there with like a little bit of the red, and then like Exodo is a bit there, and then the blue with just a black shirt and the red hair from me, maybe just like
Okay,
as minimalistic
sort
as
of
possible.
Modern art kind of
So-
stuff. Or...
Yeah.
like modern art, like
Just,
like, and then you can still like see other shit in it, because you know it doesn't have to. It's not really like an object you're drawing, but more just like
Almost cubism then, like Piet Mondrian, or he.
yeah, or like Picasso, you know, where
Yeah.
he just like takes it and like it's also like kind of impressionistic, because you just put on the paper what you know, what just like your raw impression of something is. Like you don't try to
Also-
capture it, you just like put on like, yeah, this is like, you know, what it gives me in my brain, what it stimulates.
I also want to.
My art teacher would hate me right now, probably.
I want to address something two people said in chat as well. That's Momsu and Happy. So Momsu said familiar to Splatoon. I had something similar in mind. So if you don't know, Splatoon is. I think it's Nintendo. I'm not sure, but it's basically where you shoot, but you shoot with paint, and you have to you have to paint the map. So you can reload when you're in your own color, but when you're on an enemy color, you are basically you're using ammo, you're exhausting your ammo, but you can also use that ammo to, instead of killing people, to use it to get more ground. And that kind of ties in to what Happy says. So as a laner, they could drip paint on the ground. They're fighting on which... Well, hold on, because I really need glasses, sorry. So as a laner, they could drip paint on the ground. They're fighting on which changes the area for some time, like Taliyah's were ground. I think that is something that definitely can be in League, and I think it's a really cool idea.
Yeah. So, just to touch back on what Roger was saying before we get into that one in more detail, I think, Roger, you're right, that it probably needs to be very basic, iconic style art to work in this kind of context.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if it's anything more complicated than that, it's going to be very hard to tell what's going on, especially if we make it more than just, you know, you could easily make an art-based champion where they were just nominally art-based, where, like, I'm shooting you, but with art. I'm
Yeah.
stabbing you with art. Like, if we want it to actually interact in any meaningful way, then it has to probably be very big, iconic, especially if we're going to mix stuff as well, because it's going to be readable for people who are playing with and against them.
Yeah. So, well, basically we have. So you have the three primary colors, and I'm very much mansplaining this to Roger, who is an actual artist, and I cannot draw. I can only draw stick figures. So
Maybe you
I
can
am very
explain
much
it to the chat,
Yeah.
and then we can explain to me.
so please. So you have the primary colors, which are three: red, yellow, and blue, which is great. Because that means those are can be three basic abilities, so they can work together with that.
That's
and his
true.
passive can, yeah. And then you have the combinations, which is you have the orange, you have the violet, and you have green. I'm reading from a Google Doc because I just don't know the combinations. So that's something where you can have a sort of an added effect, and it can also pivot. So what I'm thinking of, red can be thematically something aggressive, but then you can pivot to orange and violet, where you can say I am going aggressive with, or I am doing something aggressive with red, but I can pivot to I need a little bit defensive, or I can pivot to I need some crowd control or something along those lines. It's
I
not
feel like
set-
red
yeah.
just does damage, but like, you know, if you pivot that with like for example, if you like try to make it, you know, but like more orange, you could be like, that's not damage, it's like slowing.
Yeah, exactly. Or
You know,
damage
it's
over
like-
or damage over time,
It's
even
like-
something along those lines.
Exactly, you know, like slowing, or just like muting or something, or like close, you know, like a shutting sight, you know, make it, because it's all kind of like attack, you know, but like the pure red is just like the damage, but then if you like, you know, put it like in the one square, you know, then it's like the slowing, which is also an attack, but it's doesn't like as strong as the pure attack with the red.
From a
example.
mechanic perspective, I would say that you put down an area, or you put something, you color something in a certain color, and it doesn't necessarily have to. When you mix another color on top of it, it doesn't necessarily change. For example, you have a circle of red. Oh, all of a sudden your circle is orange. I think that kind of clashes with what a painter does. So I would say when you would put down a new, doesn't have to be a circle, but a new circle, and then you would have a circle red and a circle yellow, and then the overlapping part is orange, and most likely the orange part would be, you know, the best of both worlds in that case, or would be an added-on effect, something that is not in red and not in yellow.
We are seeing some pretty strong calls for Bob Ross here, just so you're aware. and you have to face down an angry mob at the end of this one, Roger.
It
I think
also gives me
that's
a
a
little
very restrained
Wolverine
hair.
with the sideburns.
It is a little bit Wolverine, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good sideburns.
Let's
I
give
think
him like 3 paintbrushes like Wolverine's claws.
Yes! Yes!
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, the best idea ever. I do think the hair probably does need to be more extreme if we're going to try and evoke Bob Ross, though.
Okay.
Right, sorry, I was a little distracted by getting a whole bunch of pings all at the same time from different places, and I didn't know if there was anything to do with what we were doing. But turns out that none of them were, so that was great. So, sorry, what were you guys saying? So, we had some things about mixing paints, which I definitely like the idea. Like, there is always going to be a bit of a complexity cost to this, so...
Yeah, you could. I think it's So this is the mechanic-wise. This is the idea I have, and in chat,
Okay.
please, if you have another idea. So you have his 3 basic abilities. When he uses an ability, let's say he leaves behind for the next 5 seconds. He leaves behind a trace of paint. So he will paint the ground around him for the next 5 seconds. And every basic ability has a color. And for example, you can use Q, then you're painting red, then you use W, then you're painting blue. And then when you overlap in your previously red zone, you'll get your violet. And then when you're standing in your violet, you do something that corresponds with the violet color. So I think that mechanic-wise is how you would make that work in League of Legends.
You would do so when you were in the violet, you would do violence.
Sure.
V stands for violet or violence.
V. Oh, there are a lot of jokes that can be made with all these colors.
So
Orange
I guess
shield.
I like the general idea there. So it sounds like we've got a bunch of different ways which we could do this. Like we've got either like so the initial idea here is when you activate like red, yellow, or blue, you just kind of poop out a puddle of paint where you are currently standing.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of sort of come back to it, which that immediately. Oh, yeah,
Okay, hear me out.
yeah, sure.
If you're a coder, you're gonna hate me, but if you're a designer, I think you're gonna love me. So you know how our painters have this this very stereotypical what's it even called? Like you have the board in your hand and you have drips with all the colors.
The palette.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
palette. So he basically drops a big droplet of that color, and you can walk into it, and you'll smear that color. You know what I mean? So use an ability, you drop a certain, bucket of paint, and when you run over it, you'll smear it out like a paintbrush. But it runs out as
Okay.
well. I honestly need to get on paint to explain this properly, but
This sounds really interesting. Like already, I'm
Yeah.
kind of intrigued by this because this.
Okay, hold
I
on.
like the idea of setting up something which you can then take advantage of, but doesn't sort of work in a way that I've really seen other abilities work.
okay, so I'll try and send you something in paint that isn't completely
Okay.
horrendous.
So while you're doing that, I'll just try and make sure I'm understanding the idea. Because so normally, if you've got something you leave behind in that kind of way, you would, you have like a sort of pickup that does something for you. It's not super common to have like, I guess we're big fans of like deployable things you can interact with because we've done it on previous champions as well.
Kinda, a little bit.
I kind of like the idea of the little paint buckets, though it would probably need to be a limited amount of them to not have them be overwhelming. So there's been, yes, I really want to make sure we keep the mixing ideas in. Who was it who was saying about the dragging? That's right, Mamsus was saying about the dragging the giant paint roller. So that's another thing we could potentially go for, is a Singe style idea where they just drag the paint behind them, but it's kind of like a Singe trail that has varying different kinds of effects depending on what the color is at that particular point. I don't know if that's a better or worse thing or just a supplementary thing, but it's promising that this whole artist idea has a lot of different directions, which all feel like they've got some amount of legs to them.
Okay, so I'm nearly there.
All right, I'm going to see. Just yell over me once you're done with your thing, because I'll just keep talking about the art stuff. I kind of. This is one of those things where we could easily build a champion that does every single idea we can think of, which is combining things, making stuff on the ground, coloring in enemy champions, coloring in allied champions, make the most complicated thing ever, and then just try and hack them back down to something remotely reasonable by picking like the best of those things. Like maybe each of the abilities is a different approach to this idea, and that you can use like all of the abilities can interact with each other, but only in a very sort of somewhat limited way. Where, like, you know, say if we say the Q is the one which involves like giving yourself a trail, then you can then use W and E to affect that trail, but you're still doing the W and E.
Okay, hold up.
Mamsus, does he have minions? Interesting, Mamsus. What brought that to mind? As much as I love that emoji to go with that question, why do you think minions would be a good choice here? Because it hasn't come up in conversation as of yet, but that doesn't mean it's not a good idea. Little inklets or something? Inky buddies?
Give him some makeup.
All right, well let's look at the kind of abilities we've had talked about so far. So we've got make a pool, make a trail, and recolor a champion or something. Let's call it. There's there are so many kind of other ideas of types of abilities we could potentially choose from to just throw onto the 3 basic ones and get started on what those abilities could actually be.
Hold up, I'm almost done. Like, give me 30 more seconds.
All right. I rely on you, chat, and Roger's busy actually doing actual art, so it seems a little mean.
Is that an insult against Exodus?
Yeah, you'll see pretty quickly why we definitely need Roger. I'm definitely not the artist on the channel.
Oh my gosh, we need a we need a concept artist as well. We need like a whole art team just for trying to avoid this specific thing from happening. Gosh, I really hope this is good by the time you're done with it.
It's not good. It's just an explanation.
Alright, I'm going to start narrowing this down a little bit just to make sure that we've got something in here. So I think it feels like doing an, oh that's right, pool slash AoE, make a trail, and recolor an ally.
Done.
Okay, I really,
This is gonna be bad. This is gonna be really bad. I'll post.
Is it gonna be worth me bringing it onto stream, or is this gonna be too?
A little bit.
Crude?
I think it's a good explanation for what the idea behind the champion is.
What did you
Alright.
do?
It's pretty bad.
Let's see.
I asked what did you do, not how good is it?
I failed most of my art classes in school, and you'll see why.
This doesn't quite work. To
but that is
actually no,
really hard to then
see,
do.
there's nothing. There's a part that's being blocked off right now. There isn't actually anything there.
No.
So could you run us through this amazing homemade diagram?
Okay, so you use the blue ability. You drop a pool of blue paint. You can walk through that blue paint, and for like a couple of, like for 1 or 2 seconds, you'll leave behind a blue painted zone. When you use the red ability, you'll drop down your red droplet, your red zone, and when you walk through that, you can paint. You'll leave a trail of red paint. When you cross your paints, you'll start mixing the colors, and every color has a specific effect. So. Your blue has effect blue, which we haven't decided on yet. Your red has effect red. But when you're combining purple, you get the purple effect, which is something else. So, for example, you'll be able to you'll be able to combine effect. And I think this means you have a very versatile laner, because if you play defensively, you can, I don't know what exactly the colors will do, but you can kind of pivot towards, I will need to be playing this color in this matchup, or I will need to be playing this color against this team composition.
Interesting.
Oh, the minions could spread the paint around. That is interesting as well.
Then is
many
that also
allies,
really
yeah.
strong, like for passive damage and everything?
I like the idea of the maybe maybe it could just be the regular minions that spread the paint around. Like, I kind of think that's a kind of fun idea. As much as small paint rollers themselves are also pretty fun to do as a concept. All right, you actually did a pretty good job in this Targam. I'll give you that. So I'll.
It was
take
worth
extra
the
time.
wait.
It was worth it.
I'll actually bring it on stream because it's a bit of a pain in the ass, but nothing too bad, I think. Oh, there we go.
Okay,
It wasn't too bad.
so I
at all.
think our next job is figuring out what are the abilities that leave behind the colors and what do they do. So intuitively, I think red is something on the lines of damage, right? I think that's kind of speaks for itself. Sorry. It's similar to my idea with the zones and more related to engage and disengage. Yeah, exactly, Happy. So I thought of the zones and how do you not just paint your entire lane in a certain color and then just it doesn't really work anymore? If you have any feedback, please feel free. So let's say the first ability is red zone is damage, yellow zone is speed, and blue zone is heal. Orange zone is attack speed, purple zone is omnivamp, and green zone is
as well.
things wow.
Okay, let's see.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't mind that idea. I think if we start plowing forward with some of these, I'm sure we'll find that some of this stuff doesn't really make sense, so we'll have to change
Green
it.
zone can potentially maybe be sustained, where you just get although that clashes with heal a bit. We'll figure it out as we go.
I'll leave your diagram off screen a little bit there, but let's start getting in. I'm gonna have to move the text out of the way because this is the big thing of running the stream, is just trying to make sure we don't get overwhelmed with too much stuff.
Yep.
So, gosh, this is going to be a very complicated champion, but that's really the only kind which we make. So we've got, okay, so the Q is going to be red in some way, W is yellow, and E is going to be blue, heal. So we're just going to put these in as working title things. It's kind of interesting. I'm already seeing that we're kind of like actually getting towards, despite having a really weird champion idea, we're actually getting towards very conventional ideas already.
Which is good, because that's intuitive, and is good to have in champions, because the champions that feel very nice to play are those where you don't really need to think too much about their abilities, but where you know that you can feel the combos.
Oh, Middlecott, thank you for letting me know the music was doubling up. I think I left the monitor on, which I think is ideally isn't supposed to play again, but I guess maybe it does. Okay, so let's put this up in the passive. So we've got combined paints. So we've got orange, which we're just for the sake of it just put red, yellow, just so there's no kind of how to think about this. So attack speed, which I think yes is very well done by Happy there to make that all line up in that kind of way. So we've got green. Which is going to be, oh my gosh,
green is
blue
something.
and yellow. I'm not mixed.
Green is blue and yellow. Yeah, it's blue and yellow, Pete, and I'm definitely not just looking at Google, just Google image.
I'm glad that you had the sense to do that.
Hey, when you're lazy enough, you just get things done quicker.
Right, what have we got? So we've got purple.
Purple. I think purple was.
Oh wait. No, green was. Oh, no, that's right. Green was the question mark, and purple
green was question mark. Omnivamp.
That's right. So that is red and blue. Omnivamp.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That seems like a good start.
Yeah.
So we've got to still figure out our basic idea here. So if we do go by, I mean, again, we're probably making champion that's too ambitious for even one session, but that's fine. I think we can always come back and potentially, if something's got enough to it that we could potentially do more with it, that would merit a whole other session. Otherwise, actually, what do you guys think about this idea? We're just doing some stream planning live on stream. That if we get to an end of a champion and we think there's still stuff to do there, we'll kind of note down that they've got, you know, maybe like half a session's worth or maybe a quarter of a session's stuff left to do. And then when we've got enough of those champions, we can do a stream where we go back and try and finish off some of the champions we think need more work.
That can be like a Christmas special or something along those lines. I wouldn't mind, or like an end of the year special. I think that's.
Or you could do like also like a vote then maybe at some point, like
Ooh, I
social
like
media,
that
like,
idea.
hey, or should we bring one back?
Should we
I
bring
do-
one back?
Did you like it, or do we want us to do better?
Do you
I
want to see
like-
this wishy-washy weasel wizard once more?
Yes.
Yes. By the way, Happy, I like the idea of Q being like a very tiny poke, and maybe what he even can do is when he, so you use the Q, which is the red, which is damage. You leave behind the red droplet, but you also do almost like a Fiora slash, not a dash, but just when she does her, not ricochet, her parry. So Bob Ross will take his, because I imagine his weapon is a paintbrush. I mean,
Obviously.
yeah, so he'll do a very
Comedy-sized paintbrush, yes.
yeah, a very small jab with the paintbrush, and maybe even get like a red line in there already. I don't know if it's something we need.
I like the idea of the slash kind of doing a kind of
cone
like
shape.
a sort of like a sort of crescent kind of splatter shape where he kind of like he darts it out and hits something, and it sprays paint out in a kind of a sort of moon arc kind of thing going forwards.
Yeah, sure. It's also cool. Like the almost the Q with Diana, but instead of
Yeah.
being on a 90-degree angle, it's on a almost perpendicular to your character. So the arc is aligned
Yes.
with you. Yeah, I like that. That's actually a cool design. Because I don't think there's a champion who, I think only Fiddlesticks. Only Fiddlesticks is E has that kind of shape. So that is cool. Otherwise, all the other ones are just one straight line or something that just comes from two sides. So Mira has it on her Q as well. Yeah, I think she does. Yeah.
I can't even spell crescent. So it's crescent slash with paintbrush that sprays paint in an arc perpendicular to Bob. So yeah, so it's kind of like you're kind of like, I think you're sort of jabbing out and slightly, well, yeah, I guess it's, so the paint, so it's going forwards and the paint's kind of is going mostly forwards, but also slightly curved in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think it's a cool idea. So leaves paint spray on ground. Mamsus, can Bob, we'll just call him Bob for the time being, can they only attack when he stands in the color?
Ooh.
That's very restrictive. It might be
That is
interesting.
extraordinary. That might be. I like it, but I think it is, as Pete said, a bit too restrictive. I remember. I think this is going to be a champion with an extraordinarily high skill level, because if you need to constantly monitor where your zones are, and you can just willy-nilly throw around your skill shots or just walk around, because you need to be careful where you draw your paint.
So this is a good chance as any. Like, we're doing this a few times. We're trying to do this a little bit more, as we've actually gotten. Gosh, it's kind of weird. Those random generating things, while they took a little while to get going with, they've actually saved us a ton of time in getting into our design a lot faster.
Yeah, they did.
So we need to talk again about what is our champion trying to do? Like, with the kind of stuff we've got so far, like, what are they going to be doing up in the top lane? Are they holding, like, we've done again a kind of thing where it's looking like we're kind of going for area control, and we have done quite a lot of area control stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can really turn back from that at this point, but it's worth being aware of that's what we are doing. But what are they going to do in the top lane? Are they trying to kill the other person? Are they trying to stop the other person from leaving the lane? Are they trying to, split push? What kinds of things are they going to be doing with this stuff?
My initial sense of this champion is that he almost feels a bit like Jace, where your combos on alone I think this can be a scaling champion, or this can be something like, maybe even more like a Riven. I think that Riven is maybe a better example, where your abilities alone are fine, but if you use them in quick succession to success, you're gonna do massive amounts of damage. So I think this can definitely be like a fighter champion, and we can kind of give Bob Ross something along with Jace, where you have to build a lot of mana because your abilities will drain your mana. This will be the limiter on. Oh, you can just keep on throwing all the pain, all the colors of the wind in the enemy's face.
Okay, so am I reading what you're saying there as being, so they're a lane fighter who needs to join the rest of the team later on to kind of
definitely
maximize the
later
use of their
on.
stuff?
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely later on.
so that kind of makes sense actually. We think about sort of what's going to happen. So while you're in the top lane, you're you are on that island with the other person. The fact that you're sort of limited in your area of effect doesn't matter as much because you're always staying up in the top lane with them.
Yeah.
But once we get out of the lane phase, then yeah, you're not as powerful in the given area because you can't, because people can just move away and fight somewhere else. So that does all kind of make sense together.
Not only that, I think it's going to be not only that, but it's also if you do your combos right. For example, you have all your cooldowns, nothing's on cooldown, and you can just quickly use, for example, you use a QWE combo, whatever the hell that means. Like a Riven, if they get on top of you, if Bob gets on top of you, you're gonna be in trouble, especially.
Roger, that facial
Sorry.
expression.
Okay, we're gonna have to.
Look
Something
at
just
this
so crazy.
handsome. Look at him,
It's
all
your
handsome. Give him some manly little chin scruff and manly chest hair. He's just swooping all the ladies. He's like,
Look at me quiet! I'm swooping all the ladies. Look at me quiet.
What?
No, because you swoop, or don't you swoop with a paintbrush? Or what's the term?
You splash or you paint?
I don't know. I never
I'm
got
never
to
going to get
ladies.
into a paint studio with you, sir.
No, definitely not. Okay. So this
Mamsis
chance.
hasn't- I just want to make sure we don't miss what Mamsis said there. So we have as well. They've kind of introduced another idea which we could potentially work in, which is if we want to add in more stuff. And I'll make a note of this here, and we could maybe keep or leave it depending on how complex the champion ends up being. Is the idea of them having that their own paintbrush is also affected by whatever colors they've put together recently.
Oh.
So
Oh, yeah. So the do we want to let that work off of auto attacks? So if your last color was, for example, purple, your auto attacks will do Omnivamp.
yeah, I think that would make sense.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe it's the kind of thing that as you auto attack, you'll kind of like you'll lose a certain amount of whatever color you've got active, and it will start to sort of rotate through whatever
you'll
you've
lose
put on there
paint.
recently. And I guess maybe it's got a certain amount of time before they will just fall off naturally anyway. But you're kind of, it sort of encourages you to choose how you navigate through a fight by being like, oh, I need to get some extra slows in, so I'll make sure I move through my areas of yellow, I guess.
Yep.
Well, we haven't actually got a green one, which maybe green should be slow.
Yeah, green can be slow.
Though it's
Although
supposed
blue,
to be healing and speed, which doesn't really
Um,
have an obvious combination together.
maybe it's healing and speed. Maybe it's CC. Maybe you can just say it's a stun, like an Udyr kind of type of deal.
Yeah. Well, I think if it's going to be an AoE, I think slow would probably make...
Yeah, slow would
Sense.
maybe make a better sense.
Like, I think having an AoE stun just on like, on the passive would be pretty harsh. Though it could always be something like the Gravity Well, where if you stay in there long enough, you get stunned.
It's
Slow
sticky paint.
maybe like it's slow increasing over time or something.
It's just you don't mix blue and yellow because you get sticky paint.
Well, there you go.
And there you go.
That's just that's good. That's good artist wisdom there from us, the artists on the crew.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're both of us should be very glad that Roger is busy with drawing a fantastic Bob Ross because internally she's probably very screaming at us. You're getting all of this wrong.
Believe me, I'm no better with like all the theories and shit. I just draw, and I think, and as long as it looks pretty, I'm happy.
Okay,
All right.
so we got the
So-
queue.
Yeah, so
Go
I think the queue is good. So this is, yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. So we've got the idea currently of having a passive paintbrush that will kind of reflect what abilities you've used recently. So one thing which really struck me with art as a child is that it's possible. Oh god, we're just gonna make Rumble again if we do this actually. Which every one of our champions is just Rumble. Which isn't to do with Feral Pony helping us out before, it's just because it just worked out that way. But
Rumble's just good as champion,
well, it's like if you put too many colors together, I'm thinking about maybe that you could just make brown.
Well, if you combine all three colors, this is something I was thinking of as well. What happens if you combine three of the colors? Well, you get black. And you can say that then your color it's black, so it doesn't do anything. So you can't just willy-nilly keep spamming everything because you're limiting
that
yourself to you're turning everything into black, which doesn't have an effect.
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea. I think it's. I don't know, Roger, how much painting you've done. Is it black or brown that you would get if you combined red, yellow, blue?
I combine red. Yeah, wait, we can just test that.
Yeah, we can.
We can do the science, people.
Science.
Stream.
There we have the blue. We
Yeah.
have the
The
red.
blue, the red.
Und
the
wir
yellow.
the yellow und we get.
We will have evidence.
You should go outside and touch some grass sometimes.
Hey, I can do a bad German accent. I'm Belgium. I'm allowed to do that.
Okay.
I don't know where it came from for me, honestly. I can only apologize.
No, that's fine.
So we get some sort. It is a reddish, like a purple, orange, brownish. If I get this now and
I think from my science lesson, you should get black, but I'm thinking realistically.
no, all
most-
colors together give black. Like if you just mix these three together, it doesn't really give black.
I do
Okay.
very vividly remember just getting brown a lot of the time when I was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is brown because because if you mix like the blue and the red, it makes yellow. It makes purple, and then if you put the yellow in, it just makes a bit more. Because yellow is. It's on the warm color spectrum, so you have like two warm colors and one cold color, which is the blue, and like adding the yellow to the red makes it the orange, and it's like the orange with the purple, it gives more like of a brown tone.
All right. So if we go with that, then,
Exodus
so
looks lost.
No, well,
No,
my
that's- I was-
girlfriend just messaged me. My girlfriend just messaged me. If you combine primary colors, you get black, you idiot.
oh well, I mean, we've had a live experiment, and it was. I think it was probably brown. All right. Well,
Let's
go
say
with
brown.
Let's go with brown. I mean, honestly, it doesn't really matter. But
It doesn't
so-
do anything anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I think that's a really cool idea, actually. I think that's a
Yeah.
really, really interesting way to do it. Is to make it so that they actively don't have an effect, so that it's a bit like the overload effect, but it's approached in a different way, where it's not something you opt into, it's something you try and avoid.
Yeah, you need to think about when you're, for example, in a purple zone, you want to make sure you don't use your E ability because you'll cancel, or you not use your E ability, but you want to make sure you don't overlap it with a blue because otherwise you'll cancel out your effect.
Okay, so no, I like it. When you mix primary colors on a screen, you get
But
white.
yes,
Wait, what?
but yeah, that's true. But you're confusing reflection with illumination. Because if you have a red light, it means it only illuminates. It only what's the term? It only exudes red light on that spectrum. But if you have a red light and a green light, you'll have two different. You'll get a different spectrum. The waves will cancel each other out. But when it bounces off something, when it reflects something, it only reflects that particular wavelength. I should stop giving people physics lectures and actually work on this champion.
I mean, I'm looking on the RYB color model on Wikipedia, and it's brown. There we go.
Okay,
So,
brown. Wikipedia's correct, brown.
all right, so let's get on
Yes,
with what we're supposed to be
Wikipedia.
here for, which is designing some champions. We never thought this would be the most controversial thing, which had driven us apart, is not knowing how colors work. Education, it's what really let us down. It's what sunk this ship.
Oh, and okay, before we move on to the W, which
Oh,
we
no.
will, if you're colorblind, don't play the champion. Sorry.
That's true.
If you're
That
if
would
you're
be-
colorblind, just don't play Bob Ross. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry for you. I feel for you, but you're not gonna be playing Bob Ross.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, yeah, that's a really good point.
Should we give
okay.
it? I mean, maybe like we can do like a color a blind like special with like texture, like dots, stripes.
Yeah, I think it would need to be something like that.
Just
like-
plain.
Yeah.
yeah,
You could have
colorblind
it-
mode.
The thing is,
But
League of
that's
Legends does
that,
have a colorblind mode, which you can have it.
we will get to that if Riot calls us and wants to have the champion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
Riot,
we're not
we
gonna
have this.
fix that problem for them, like like if
We
you're gonna steal
copyrighted the
from us,
idea of
just
paint.
call us already.
All right.
Okay,
So
W,
we've got
speed.
our two more things are, so we've got two ideas left in play, which you haven't used yet, which are either puddles of paint or trails of paint. I think we don't really have sort of three full ideas, we've just got the two.
Yeah.
So which of these should we make the primary part of this yellow?
Okay, so yellow, so you'll get more movement speed in the yellow. So do we want to say a yellow is a speed buff on the yellow zone? So
Okay,
let me
so this
think.
is going to be the one that creates a zone.
Yeah.
Are we
Almost-
talking like a zone underneath Bob's? We haven't come up with a name. We need a working name for them. Let's just call them. Let's just call them Bob for the time being, I suppose. Until
Bob,
someone can
yeah.
call his
Yeah.
own better. Or boss.
Boss.
Okay. So it creates a zone of paint underneath Bob's feet. This is one of those things that where if someone was like going to come and critique, they would be like, "Why? Why do they create a zone under their feet rather than say throwing that zone?" And be like, "I don't know."
Yeah. So creates a zone underneath Bob's feet.
So
Let's
it starts,
wait.
So it starts off as yellow.
Yeah. First of all, it's yellow. Let's say that if you're in, you'll also do damage. So if, for example, it's a small AoE ability as well, and the closer you are to Bob, the more damage you take. Because if you'll need to give his ability some form of damage at least. Because the paint creation is an added effect on top of an ability, right? It can be literally like a Darius Q, where you spin around, and with Darius it's kind of the opposite, where if you're at the end you'll take more damage, but here it can be the opposite. If you're close to Bob, you'll take more damage.
Okay, so it's kind of like spinning, like a
Spin
bucket of
paintbrush.
paint. It's kind of spinning the. Oh right, okay. So no, you were thinking more of a kind of, I don't know what the correct term is, but like a kind of.
Look at him
Martial
with
arts
his
kind of
color
things.
splashes.
Oh my gosh, I do like the paint splashes. That's really nice.
You do a roundhouse kick with the brush attached to your feet.
Bruh.
Wait,
Why?
that would be an arc, wouldn't it, rather than a circle?
No, because in a roundhouse kick, don't you do a complete 360? Or am I confusing martial arts?
Are you thinking
here?
like a bicycle kick or something?
I think of a bicycle kick. Let me look him up. Hold on.
I don't know if Happy's confused by the same thing that I'm confused by, but I'm sorry, I'm
I
confused.
think I just watched too many Jean-Claude Van Damme. No, not a bicycle. Like, yeah, roundhouse kick.
If his fighting style is kind of martial arts, but with a big paintbrush, I could definitely go for that. I think that would be kind of a neat idea. Like the kind of the Chinese style kind of spear fighting where they kind of spin the spear around themselves. Could do that with a giant paintbrush. I think that could work.
Mm-hmm.
So sort of helicopters the paintbrush then.
Yeah. Yeah, it can
Okay.
kind of helicopter. Actually, maybe he helicopters the paintbrush like 2 or 3 times. Like, kind of like a, is there a champion else in the league?
You mean that thing that Xin Zhao does? Yes, we mean his ultimate. So we're basically just giving him Xin Zhao's ultimate.
Nice.
Yeah, sure. You know what? Yeah, let's go with it.
Okay, so does this spin push people back in the same way that Xin Zhao's one does?
I'd say it gives them a small knockback effect, like similar to when, for example, Shyvana jumps at you as in dragon form. It's a very small knockback effect, not like Xin where you just go flying.
I realized we actually needed to put this in. So red paint, yellow paint, blue paint.
Yeah.
So what they actually do, because without doing this, it's a little confusing. So yellow paint presumably speeds up allies.
Yeah.
Red paint.
Or it's just
Does.
it can also just speed up Bob. Remember, he's a solo laner. It doesn't necessarily have to speed up
He is
allies.
not a support.
He's not a support.
Well, I'm thinking if we want them to be working with the team later on, I kind of like the idea of the paint being something that the team can make use of as well.
Look at the paintbrushes.
It doesn't have to be by any means.
But
there's
Look at
speed
his
brushes.
Wolverine paintbrushes.
speed up allies with blue is okay. Blue paint with yellow. You can say blue paint is extra, just regen, just extra health regen.
Yeah.
When he uses the E, he gets a small heal.
Okay, and red is just small extra damage, I guess, boost.
Or enemies who are standing in red gotta take more damage.
That's the thing. For some reason, I feel compelled to have it because it seems very obvious to kind of make it so that the paint affects the enemies and allies in different ways, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of almost tempted to have it to say that maybe the paint doesn't affect enemies in that kind of way, just because I'm worried that the complexity is getting a little bit over the top.
I think
when
that's a
that
good
happens.
call. I think that's actually a good call. Where we say we don't need to make him. He's probably mechanically already going to be very difficult, so we don't need to over-engineer the abilities.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, if you're on the same kind of thing there, then I guess yes, it can. So I guess what the enemies get out of this, in terms of we're talking about counterplay, is that driving Bob back off of an established kind of artwork, as it were, is a very powerful thing to be able to do. Like, you take that territory to deny the bonus. Actually, yeah, no, I think that makes more sense in that way, because if you're not taking a negative for standing on the paint, then it's only to your advantage to try and drive Bob away from their own paint.
Yeah, for example, like Elisina can just, or something, if you can just get Bob away from his previous, his artwork, that might actually maybe not the worst name for a passive artwork, or performance art. Actually, no, it's not performance art because he's painting.
I think artwork is fine.
Artwork is
someone comes
fine
up with
as a
something better.
passive. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna give them Xin Zhao's ultimate 2-3 times. So it's kind of like Wukong's ultimate and Xin Zhao's ultimate put together. I think maybe it's like it's a very small pushback. So small pushback, channel. I guess maybe you can be. Maybe the zone grows as the longer you do it for, to a certain size.
Yeah, that's not
So
a
it
bad
removes
idea.
your ability to auto attack while you're doing it. But
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Okay, so removes ability to auto attack. So with what I'm seeing so far is all of these abilities are going to need to have some ability to generate paint of their color. Otherwise, there's not any way of actually making blue. For instance, if that doesn't happen. So that's just something to be aware of.
Look at this handsome man.
He is pretty handsome.
is pretty
Wait a second, let's get up a picture of Bob Ross and see if we can.
Oh yeah, true. We haven't actually showed Bob Ross on stream yet. I'm thinking
let's-
of for blue, we can basically do a health like a small dash and a health regen within blue, and a small heal on top of that. That's good enough.
Okay, let me just get the Bob Ross stuff sorted out. So, I think we need more hair. More.
hair.
There must always be more. Look at the size of that lad.
No, but yeah.
He's not here to serve as eye candy. Well, actually, to be fair, he is the greatest eye candy of all.
He's a pretty handsome. I think Bob Ross a pretty handsome man. Yeah. Or
Can we get a
at
side
least.
by side here? Are we? To let us know, chat. You know, are we getting the right kind of
I
Bob
want him.
Ross
You know,
vibes?
he's a bit more. You know, like the Spanish.
I'm getting,
know what?
I'm
Young,
getting
you
more.
know,
I'm more pirate, handsome
scandalous,
pirate.
you
Is
know.
more.
No,
than-
this
sport
is-
life.
This is Bob Ross. No. This is we can compromise. Roger has drawn Bob Ross in the younger years. Remember, he's in the
Yeah.
military, so he
Yeah,
can't.
so, you know,
he
he
can't
has-
have the big afro there.
No, I
or-
specifically remember Bob Ross did have that big afro in the military. I remember
Really?
reading about it. Yeah, because he got loads of shit for it.
Really?
I'm pretty
Wow,
sure.
trooper! What a trooper! Like he got away with that. Wow.
So the reason I'm kind of pushing
Absolute
for this
unit.
more is I don't know if people are even going to realize this is supposed to be a reference to Bob Ross unless the hair is pretty noticeably like his. But maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe, you know, I will defer to other people's judgment if I'm off and it needs to be more. I don't even watch these programs, so I can't remember what the name of it is. But
I
like,
don't
there's
know, I
like
never
period
saw it.
pieces with people who come back from overseas, and everyone's like, "Oh, they've come back from overseas. I'm swooning."
I'm swooning.
And they've got that kind of haircut that is on our character currently.
Oh, we still need to do
Alright.
the E and the ultimate, by the way. So,
All right. I'll get my issues out of the way for a second. Okay, so far we've got. So he's kind of playing a little bit of keep away, in that he's got one ability that's pushing people away. He's trying to create an area sort of in front of him. Like, he's definitely more of a forward-moving champion because he's creating all of this stuff is so far in front or on him. So it's not like there's nothing so far which he can use to. I suppose he could theoretically throw paint behind him. Oh, did he have shorter hair in his military time? Hitsukai.
I imagine so. I've never
Am I just
been in
making
the
it up?
military.
Did I misremember that? I guess my counter argument would be, if we're trying to evoke Bob Ross, does that matter?
I don't. Yeah, I don't think it really matters.
But no, Kitsukai, thank you for clarifying. All right, so for the blue here, sorry, could you just run over that again? What kind of thing were you thinking?
So the blue, I think, small dash, kind of like something with Riven, because he's a fighter. So Bob Ross is both a lover and a fighter, and he wants. So small dash at the same time. Instead of giving him a shield, he gets a small heal. But while in blue, he also gets, let's say, quadruple health regen or something, which is okay, but which is not game breaking. Like bigger health regen steroid.
Okay, so we've got the concern again of where does the paint generation come from in here?
So the paint generation, so when he dashes...
Is this the one where he's going to leave behind a trail of paint?
No, I'd say he leaves behind a Yeah, actually, yeah, this can be the one where he leaves behind the trail of paint. Where so he dashes, and then for the next 5 seconds, he'll leave behind the blue trail of paint where he walks.
Okay.
Follow me crushing on this handsome young lad. You know, little art joke in there, little pun.
When you die, he has to say. I actually think this is
Follow
definitely.
me, color me surprised. Color
No,
me
no, no.
dead.
We don't make mistakes. We have happy little accidents. It's definitely his quote when he dies. Also, this should be voiced by Pete. Like counter for you.
Yes.
I am
What
not the
does
one who
Bob
should be
even
voicing
sound
this.
like?
Very gentle,
It's like
extraordinarily
a smooth
gentle.
voice, you know, like this chocolate smooth voice. You know,
Just-
like very
just
very
Google Bob-
relaxed.
Just Google Bob Ross. And listen to him paint for like 10 seconds. and
Christmas
you are it.
lounge, you know.
Christmas lounge is actually
The
a good
voice you
description of
get,
Bob
the
Ross.
voice you get when you drink warm chocolate milk with like some molten marshmallows. You know, like the smooth, just very, a little bit maybe. What's his name?
Okay. I know. I do
what-
somewhat get what you mean. Yeah.
What's his
He's-
name? The one who
he's-
sings. It's beginning to look a lot like. Fuck this.
Oh.
No.
His voice isn't like massively remarkable, but it's
Yeah,
the
but
tone,
it's like
I
the
think, that kind of
smoothness
comes
of it,
across.
you know, the smoothness of it.
Yeah, he's
with
very
then the
calming.
depth of
Very calming, yeah.
shit. Who's the
Michael
husband of
Bublé.
Chrissy
Michael
Teigen?
Bublé.
Yes, Michael Bublé. Like the softness, like the smoothness of the voice, but then with the depth of John Legend. You know, like with the depth, like lot of like John Legend.
This
'cause
is
he
a
has,
lot
like,
of
that
demands.
smooth-
Jeez.
I think, yeah. Let's create the ultimate first, and then we'll move on to voice lines.
Roger, tell you what, note that stuff down because I'm not gonna remember all of it, and we'll do our
It's
best
John Legend,
to...
like John Legend, because he has like that smooth, deeper like voice, and it's very soft.
Yeah, I think Roger is creating her own fan art here, which is completely fine.
Fan art,
which is-
fanfic, it's all good here.
Which is completely fine, but it's we're definitely crossing into that territory.
Are we though? I'm not quite there yet.
I mean, to be fair, if I had a bad day and Bob Ross just shows up at my door and just carries me upstairs and paints something for me, I would not say no. I'll be like, yeah, you know what? I'm
He
fine with
paints
that.
something. He paints you.
No, I think didn't
Like-
Bob Ross die recently, or like a couple of years ago?
I don't feel like Bob Ross is still alive, so if that happened, I'd be a bit
I don't
worried.
know.
Bob
He's
Ross,
too
I
good.
don't know.
He's he's like one of those people
Yeah,
that
died in
don't live long because they're
1995.
too.
He's been dead for
Yeah.
quite a long time.
Yeah,
So-
he's.
We're
Yeah.
idiots. Wow.
You know, this
Alright,
is our
come on.
tribute. This is our tribute.
We're getting close to the end of our time here. We didn't even talked
Yeah.
about the ultimate yet. Gosh, the first is
ultimate- okay.
overwhelmed. Okay, so he's gonna dash for a small amount. So
What am I doing?
so maybe Bob is healed. While the trail. I was thinking that maybe if Bob uses another ability while he's got the trail running, that it then becomes an orange, purple, or green trail. So that
Yeah, good idea.
so while the trail is blue, he's getting healed, but using another ability will change the trail being generated.
Mm-hmm. So
it
now
does
the
look a little bit
ultimates.
weird with the Omnivamp stuff, but I guess he just
That's
gets
okay.
Omnivamp during that time instead. Okay, so
R.
we haven't talked about the ultimate at all, and
No.
this is going to be a big thing of being like, well, how do we bring this stuff together? Or
Drinks paint and gets gets
oh no,
strong.
tragic ending for our champion.
His ultimate can be fairly
Or
straightforward.
like Irradia's old, you know, like that he like slashes out a couple paintbrushes, you know.
Yeah, it could just be a bigger
Yeah.
version of what he's doing already.
Yeah, could be bigger version. Could be him using just the Wolverine claws and getting a small attack boost. Like literally could be Singed ultimate where you just give him, you just do a stat check.
Oh, well, so if we go by what Feral Penny was saying before,
Yeah.
if we're going to try and make an something that makes sense,
Yeah.
then we need to figure out what the rules are for Bob right now, and figure out how we're going to break them.
So the
what does-
rules.
what does Bob do? What does Bob not do?
So the rules are Bob does not really have AoE. CC. He definitely a fighter, but I think if he gets CC'd, he is in trouble. Wants to fight in his paint, is really strong when he's not in paint. And really weak when he's not in paint. I think those are the basic rules for Bob so far.
Okay. Also, we definitely need a champion title here. So,
I just have Bob with a heart in the beak.
Bob
we don't have
Ross,
a good- if we
not
don't
the
have a good-
greatest painter in the world, just a tribute.
yes. If we don't get
Bob
a good champion
Legend.
title, they're going to be the happy little accident.
Bob Legend!
Bob Legend of Rob Boss. Rob Boss, not the
Bob
greatest
Bob.
not the greatest painter in the world, just a tribute or something like, or a tribute painter or something. along
Just
those
a
lines.
tribute. What?
You know, from the song Tribute? No? Oh, whatever.
No,
Yeah.
I'm of age
Yeah.
to remember that.
Yeah.
Sun Tzu, Artist of War.
Ooh, that is not bad, Happy. That is actually quite good. Artist of War. Yeah.
Okay, I like it. Okay, so yeah, I think, yeah, I like what you were saying before with the R. So with what Roger was saying, so that will be addressing his needing to kind of build up an area to be strong in it, which would be, I guess, to create a big, like a big explosion of paint that he can do. If we maybe try with, so the other thing which hasn't been mentioned yet is that he has to be careful about not making his paint go brown.
Yeah.
If we could have the ultimate break that rule in some way by allowing him to do
Ooh.
something different with that.
You could say that when his ultimate is active for like the next 10 seconds, when you're standing in black paint or in brown paint, you get all abilities as well. That is cool because that fits into. Then he goes into his dark years. You know, it's his emo period.
He starts
And-
working on Gears of War.
That's I don't know if everybody's gonna get that, but it's actually pretty funny.
Or it could also be like, you know, wait, wait, what was the ulti that he like increases something or like, you know, can't make the paint brown? Like also would be something cool if you like if you activate the ult, you know, that he like takes color and like smears like war paint and
Oh,
War
yes!
paint.
he's just like, let's go.
Yes.
Happy's
That's
Happy's
definitely a
idea is
great
paint,
name
yeah.
for the name
War
of the
paint.
ability.
Yeah. War paint.
Yes, you should
cool.
definitely put it on. Puts on war paint. I don't know if, yeah, we're gonna be a little careful not to culturally appropriate too much there, but I think the idea is good.
I think putting red, blue, and yellow on your face is basically something every child did in every culture. So I think we're good. I think we're good.
Okay, so Happy had the paint thinner idea, makes his paint spread real far.
Ooh.
Okay, well, so let's go through the various things we've got here. So, turn that brown.
Upside.
Upside
down.
down.
That sounds a little sus, actually. Let's get rid of that.
You hear what you want to hear, man. That's my issue. That's my take on that.
I'm just aware of anything which can be kind of like look back later and be like, okay,
Fair enough.
so
Fair enough.
so brown paint change. So yeah, so instead of becoming inert, the brown paint gains all effects. That does, so I like that idea. So it should probably be for duration, but we also need something that goes with that for a certain amount of time for that ability to make sense.
Do you want to give him like a dash as well? So they're like not a Malphite or a Viego ult, but a dash in, because when you use this, you basically want to go ham. Because this is a time where we said you don't want to spam your abilities because you can create brown. But during the R, you definitely want to create brown. So maybe you do want to go in and say you get more, you just get more paint as well. Like kind of incorporating Happy's idea where you just get your areas get bigger. So the overlap will also be bigger.
Okay, so maybe I'm thinking like a Gragas explosive cask, but that he throws himself forward with it.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, he needs to set himself up for like half a second of channel, and he throws himself forward with just a bucket load of paint.
Yeah, I can see that working, and that, especially if it's kind of like, yeah, that it's very, very telegraphed, so it's not intended as a kind of surprise engage or something. It's just supposed to be a. Yeah, I like that idea.
Think of the icon for the ulti.
That's cool. That is really cool.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So it's it doesn't really, unfortunately, it doesn't really work with the. I know. I suppose it does. It does sort of work with Warpaint.
It does. It does work with Warpaint. Because you want to your
so,
gorilla fighting, right?
so it's
you're
kind
going
of
in.
So similar effect to Gragas explosive cask, but throws self forward and with paint barrel and explodes paint in large area. Very telegraphed. And I guess he needs to have some sort of bonus effect that's going to kind of put a timer on the brown paint stuff as well. Because this is like a one and done kind of idea that he kind of goes through. And presumably the paint he puts down would be the last one that the one that's currently on his brush, I guess would make sense.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Also, don't forget that this alt can be very powerful. Because if you're creating a lot of brown paint and your alt is done, it means you're stuck in brown paint, which means you don't have an extra effect.
True.
So it means that during the ultimate he can be very strong, and one of the counters is just don't fight him when his ult is up. Like seriously, just don't fight him when his ult is up.
Oh, sorry. Can we just check on the Warpaint one there? Again, sorry.
Puts on Warpaint, not a lot of CC, tons of
The
ability.
Warpaint icon.
Oh. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a little concerned that
Okay.
that's gonna come across as him putting on blackface. It's what
Oh
I'm.
no! Oh
It's
no!
what
I
I'm
was
immediately thinking
because
there.
the mix is brown. No, because the mix of the colors is brown. That's why I made no.
Yeah, so we probably want to try and avoid that if we can.
No. Okay. I'm like, I'll just make it like.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. I don't think it's an yeah. That's fine. I think we can use a different color.
No, I'll just incorporate the brown. See, like.
Oh yeah, that works. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No, there's no apology needed. It suddenly occurred to me and I couldn't think of an indirect way of saying it. So, apologies to there for making it awkward, but I also am aware that it's not going to be a comfortable thing for people to see that necessarily outside of its intended context.
Actually, I think it's good you said this, because these like little extra almost leaves that you put on there, Roger, they really make him look very cool. This is actual war paint now. Yeah.
Okay, so all we really need to then to finish off this kit is just something that he does while he's in war mode. So it could be something fairly straightforward, like just, I don't know, extra movement speed, extra attack speed, or something.
Maybe extra attack range, because that is something that Riot has been experimenting with a little bit, like with Gwen and the new Lethal Tempo, and especially with Rob Boss here, having just extra attack range is kind of neato, because it is extraordinarily
maybe his
powerful.
attack range extends to the this is maybe a little weirder than this necessarily done. Possibly his attack range should extend to as far as the paint stretches.
The brown paint then, or the paint in general?
I was thinking the paint in general. I don't know if that's too far out of bounds for someone who is otherwise, I assume, is like a melee fighter.
Yeah, sure, why not? So when you can say when he's on brown paint, his attack range extends to connecting brown parts. Do you?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to have So for example, if you have 2 splashes of brown, he won't be able to attack from one splash to another splash, but he can attack with if it's one area, if it's connected. I think that's cool.
Okay,
That's actually
yeah.
that's actually very strong. That's very strong when you're in brown paint, and it incentivizes you to create a lot of brown paint, which once again, when your ultimate is done, doesn't do anything.
Okay, attack. Cannot extend to other brown patches.
Yeah.
There you go, brown patches. What a great turn of phrase to use there. Okay. Yeah, I actually think this is a pretty interesting champion.
Yeah. I think we even, I'm not sure, but I think we said once, like 1 or 2 years ago, that we did want to make more artists as champions. And I think we even said painter at that point. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, so what we've got here is we've got a pretty heavy emphasis on. Yeah, we've got a relatively straightforward mechanical kit combined with a more complicated mixing mechanic that is kind of informing a lot of this. This does feel more foundational than it does like anything really like a finished champion, but it seems like a good theoretical exercise.
And we did make Bob Ross into a champion, which is always a plus.
Make Bob Ross into a sexy parrot. I think it's what
Hey!
Not the Spanish artist.
Hi, my name is Bob Ross. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Oh my gosh. Alright. When he accidentally makes Brown a Lenny face, he says, ah, shit. Gosh, I think there is definitely room for an edgy take on Bob Ross in terms of lines.
Yeah, I mean, just look at his. Did you see his scar that I gave him?
Oh, I like it.
And the blind eye, you know, that now is like a bit like rainbowish.
Oh, I can't see. Can we enhance in the eye? It's quite small.
Enhance.
Enhance! Oh, it's
Go up to 4 times zoom.
There.
Oh, you are. The effect is very subtle, but it's very cool.
Ooh, yeah. Nice.
Damn.
In the pain in his face, the piercings, obviously they can't be missed, you know. And then the chest here.
All right. Well, in that case, the last thing to do is to go through
Voice lines.
Any voice lines. So, do you guys have any ideas for any particular voice lines for our pirate Bob Ross?
I'm gonna look
pirate.
up Bob Ross voice lines. Bob Ross famous voice lines. Famous quotes. Oh, there are actually a couple of good ones.
Yeah. And please, chat, help us
so-
out with this.
So the we don't make mistakes, just happy little accidents. That's the kicker, obviously. But there's nothing wrong with having a tree as a friend, which is kind of cool.
Aww. When he plays with Maokai.
Yes, let's get crazy. Apparently, let's get crazy is something he said as well.
Oh, really?
Do that at the voice
Yeah.
line when he activates. It's all like let's get crazy.
Oh! This one is ideal. This one is perfect. Wash the brush, just beat the devil out of it.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. From Bob Ross, The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross, Volume 29.
Happy Light Sensitive. Because, yeah, I don't think we're going to put any lines in which are just literally exactly what he said.
No, joining the
but
Noxian army wasn't a mistake, it was an accident. Yeah, sure.
I'll paint you some happy little clouds.
Yeah, I'll paint you some happy little...
Every minion needs a little friend.
Ooh, this is I don't know what the context of this one is, but apparently from the Joy of Painting series 17, what can be painted can be punished.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what the context was, Bob Ross, but okay.
I'll take it. I'll take
Alright,
it. I'm into that.
That's quite a lot of voice lines already, to be fair.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Get that. Yeah, see happy? That's kinky. That's kinky.
That's
That
kinky.
sounds good.
Jesus.
Oh, we're all going to prison.
Yes, horny jail.
Yay, horny jail!
Oh,
Man, this is why I love doing this. This is why this is so much fun.
all right.
I'm just the
So
right
it's-
amount of like cursed sprinkle.
Alright, Pete, give it a go. We'll shut up.
Let's see. So, Bob Ross. Yes, right.
Channel the smooth Johnny
Really
legend.
scrub that on.
Ooh,
Okay,
I
so
like
it's a
that.
sort of sort of Midwesterny kind of sort of cowboy, but not too heavy.
Yeah, sorta.
All right. Well, let me turn the music off so you can get in. All right. So I'd like from each of you, I would like just because it's more fun this way, I would like to have a two bits of direction from each of you as to how you think I should approach this performance. So Exodus, what are your two things I should bear in mind?
If this is a Bob Ross tribute, I would say speak softly but firm.
Soft but firm. Okay. Yep.
Soft but firm.
What can be painted can be punished. Oh,
Yeah, something along those lines. And
like,
if you can, like the Midwestern American accent, that is something. Just go for it. And if you don't,
I'll do
yeah,
my
just
best.
go for it. If you want, if you feel comfortable. But if you want to go for an American accent, just go for it. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Those are my two. Those are my two senses
right.
of direction here.
I like
Think of
that, Roger. You look
chocolate.
very thoughtful. You look very thoughtful.
yeah. Think of chocolate, you know, because of the smooth,
okay.
silky,
Okay.
and yeah,
sure,
with
sure.
like with a soft but firm, right? You know, like keep the warm. Don't make it sound cold. Like just enhance the warm. Like
Let's see. Twisted Fate. I'm trying to remember. Twisted Fate voice lines apparently. Happy's saying that's a pretty good base. So let's have a quick listen. to those.
it's destiny. I think that's sort of Twisted Fate.
Let's see.
Twisted Fate on his day off.
Yeah, that is kind of like the sort of thing I'm thinking. Just the luck of the draw.
My camera.
Yes.
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 Okay,
Yes.
cool.
My camera's kind of giving up here on the corner. Hello? I don't know. My camera was a bit pixely. All good.
All right. So, for the sake of our social media channels, please grab your pets and loved ones. This is Rob Boss. Oh my gosh. Rob Boss, artist of war. Joining the Noxian army wasn't a mistake. It was an accident. There's nothing wrong with having a tree as a friend. Let's get crazy. Wash the brush. Beat the devil out of it. I'll paint you some happy little clouds.
Okay.
What can be painted can be punished.
A little bit more aggressive than I thought, but it
Yeah, a
does
little-
work. It does
Yeah.
work. It work.
Had a bit of more like the scruffiness to it.
Oh, it's because I was,
I mean,
I was
it's a
thinking of
tribute.
pirate as well.
But that's cool. No, that's fine. That's artistic free. That's artistic freedom. It's your artistic freedom. That's fine. It works.
Why pirate?
Yar har filthy Russ.
Hell no.
All right, there we go. So that's going to be it for us this evening. Do you guys have anything you'd like to shout out before we go tonight?
Hire me as a caster.
Oh Jesus.
I don't know if there's too many people watching you doing that, but
I don't know. Just hire me as a caster or a esport consultant. Basically, I'll make your job easier, and I'll pay for myself in the long run. That's
Oh, I thought you said you're going to pay yourself. I was like, well, that's a
no,
bargain.
no. Just hire me as a caster or esport consultant. I'll pay for myself in the long run. That's my guarantee.
All right. Roger, anything you'd like to make the folks aware of?
If Exodus goes like that, hire me as a content creator. Like my content creations right now, on Instagram, also TikTok, Twitter, and on Twitch, like they're working pretty well apparently, because like people are all loving my shit, and it's fun creating content and like just showing my personality out there. So yeah.
All right.
And
I'm
also,
gonna
I
quickly-
look cute, right?
Jeez.
So I
Hey, you
realized
started
I should have made commands for everybody. I will do that now, actually. So we've got presenters, and then I'll put everyone's Twitter in there in case anyone's not following any of us for any reason, because they just didn't know about it, I suppose.
Also, join the Discord, folks. If you have any
Yes.
suggestions, or just want to have fun, or just want to have more of a bigger take on this, we do
flame
read,
us.
or flame us. Literally, that's fine as well. Just keep it civil enough. We do read everything in the Discord, and we do take suggestions into account. And we will, if you have a really cool idea of a champion that you want to have on stream, or you want to design, or that you want to have seen drawn, it's easy. The easiest thing to do is just join the Discord.
And there we go. Links in the chat right now. If you just click on that, it'll take you directly there. So as we said before, next week will be a little bit of a special case. We will be broadcasting at this same time. So that's going to be at 5 p.m. British time and 6 p.m. European time. But we've yet to determine where it will be. So please, if you do join the Discord, you can go to the Rolls Stream Pings channel, which probably needs to be renamed to something a little bit more sensible. But there you can react to a message where you'll be able to get a little notification each time we go live, because we'll just ping out that particular role. And that will you'll only ever get pinged when we're going to send out a live stream. So it's a good way to not have to rely on what probably is the overwhelming amount of emails you get from Twitch as to when a particular channel's gone live.
Exactly.
For me, this Saturday I'm running a TFT competition. That's counts as casual competition, so do drop me a message if you are interested in TFT and would like to join in. Apart from that, I think it's, all good for me as well. I'm just checking to see if there's anyone we can chuck a raid towards. If anyone's got anyone in mind, I don't think I've got anyone myself.
Fido is live with some teamfight tactics.
Oh, yeah, we can throw it towards Finno.
Mhm.
What's Finno's one? It's hey Finno _
Yeah, underline. Yep.
Yeah, good idea.
Oh, happy, like sensible. Thank you for doing that. All right. Let me make sure I'm doing this on the right channel, otherwise it won't work. Let's see. /raid. Yeah, let's go check out Finno. What's Finno streaming? So, yeah, Teamfight Tactics. Cool. All right, guys. So, again, do come join Discord next week. We will be back same time, perhaps not the same place. But the only way to know for sure is to be on our Discord. And we'll see you guys 1 week from now.
See ya.
Bye!